What's up? It's Jordan with Let's Go Birding, and today we are headed to the Pawnee National Grassland. It's about 2 hours away, and it's actually very close to the Colorado-Wyoming border. But it should be worth it because there's lots of interesting and rare plains birds up there that you haven't seen yet. So let's get sleeping because we have to get up super early to make all this happen. See you there.
So you want to go to the birding auto tour or the birding tour on the Pawnee Grassland? You can go anywhere, but this is what I know the most about. And then you're going to want to drive past the sign that says State Trust Land, and then there's going to be a gate and like a big sign that says Pawnee National Grassland, and it'll have like information about animals and whatnot on it. If you type in just Pawnee, it'll take you to like literally the center of the Pawnee, which is fine. You can walk around there, but I like the birding tour because it's sort of more structured. So if you want to see the grassland and don't want to have to be like responsible for finding your own route, just go to the birding tour, type birding tour Pawnee Grassland into Google Maps, and we'll link it in the description, and then you can follow that, and the birding tour is self-navigating. No shooting. Oh no, different kind of shooting. Yeah, you gotta be careful here. That's another thing about the Pawnee. It's public land, so you can shoot your guns here. You know, be aware. Alright, today we're at the Pawnee National Grassland, a shortgrass prairie. It was established in 1960. This is the start of the birding tour, which is like an auto tour where you can sort of get out wherever you want basically and walk around. And we're gonna hang out here for a little while and walk down to the pond over there, and hopefully it's still there. And then we'll drive up a little further and look for sparrows and longspurs and maybe some burrowing owls.
Maybe we'll see our state bird out here, Mr. Lark Bunting.
And misses.
Yeah.
They're both the state bird.
Megan's got her bug net with us today too, so we can get some other flying creatures that are not birds.
Birding on the prairie has its own dangers associated with it, just like any habitat. There's a lot of rattlesnakes out here. So definitely keep an eye out for that. If you wear snake gaiters, that's great. If you don't have them, just, watch where you step. I find it very easy to get lost on the prairie, so I usually park next to a fence, and then I walk up the fence line, so that way I know which direction to walk back. Always come prepared with lots of water because, even if it's cool in your neighborhood, it's going to be hot on the prairie. And I think those are cattle. When you're birding around cattle, give them their space, just like you would any other large mammal. Don't come between, a mom and a calf, common sense things. Pretend it's wildlife. Don't approach them. So historically, shortgrass prairie is grazed by bison, which are a keystone species in this habitat. But obviously there's not bison just wandering our Great Plains anymore, so cattle have sort of become the replacement for bison, and they keep the grass short. They provide habitat for prairie dogs and mountain plovers and burrowing owls, etc.
Oh, a bird!
Ooh, this is a good one. It's a northern harrier, and sometimes it's called a hen harrier or a marsh harrier, and they fly low over marshes and wetlands, wet fields. This is sort of a weird place, but honestly it's a grassland, so it's not that weird. The males are like pale gray, and the females are a dark brown, so the males are, I don't know, they're very pretty. A lot of people call them the gray ghost because they're very quiet. They just sort of pop up out of nowhere, and they're quite lovely.
You see that horned lark?
Yeah, there's a bunch of horned larks in this field in front of us.
You just don't see them because they're
perfectly
colored like the brown grass.
Yeah, we'll hear them, and they sound like one of those rain sticks that you turn, and it makes like that tinkling sound. So it's like a grossly slowed down version.
These are these little guys we're hearing of. This is the horned larks?
Yep.
But it's like their flight call and not their...
Well, that's one of them. It's only the flocks that sound like rain sticks.
A couple meadowlarks over there. Let's see if I can get a photo from here.
What a beautiful creek.
About 20 or 21
Horned
larks, and maybe 7 meadowlarks.
The harrier.
Oh yeah, the harrier, the gray ghost.
Alright, so the cool thing about horned larks is if you look at the different populations sort of throughout the Great Plains, the color on their backs matches the regional soil color. Put a link to the paper.
That speaks to extreme selective pressures.
Male and the female?
Yeah, male and female.
Female blends so in. Yeah.
Megan, will you hand me my camera?
Yeah, it's moving now, so I can finally see it, but...
You can see she has a bit of the white on the wings, which is pretty easy to see when they're flying. A lot of birds on the prairie have white outer tail feathers. You can sort of estimate what type of bird it is by the amount of white in the tail feather. If it's a large bird with a lot of white, it's probably a meadowlark. If it's a smaller bird with a lot of white, it's probably a longspur. Let's stop along here because there's a lot of lark buntings and we can look at them.
I saw one flying and I saw the, it was a female that had the white stripes.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I can tell that's a lark bunting now.
There's a full cattle tank over there being supplied by the windmill. Yeah, there's a bunch of buntings here. The buntings are like clustered along like the rows of fence, but there's also juvenile horned larks, like running through the mud and soil. I see a cowbird. There's what appears to be a young brown-headed cowbird next to some large buntings. Alright, so we're looking for longspurs today, and the one we're looking for mostly is Mccowns, which we can talk about the name of later. And they have a lot of white in their outer tail feathers, and here they are in the book. And you can see the central few tail feathers are dark, and they have a little bit of white in the terminal band. And that's what we're looking for, because that's the easiest thing to spot when you're driving along.
So, yeah, as you can tell, they look like every other plains bird. They're roughly the same size, so it should be easy. Should be easy ID.
The one on top of the post, is it cooling off by like...
I think he is, yeah.
At the time of filming this episode, birding folks were in the middle of a discussion about changing the name of the Mccown's longspur. Mccown was a Confederate Army general and was involved in the reallocation of and campaigns against First Nations people, and it was decided to change the name from Mccown's longspur to Thick-billed Longspur. These changes were first brought up in 2018 without much success, and again after the protests against the murder of George Floyd. If you'd like to learn more about the Mccown's longspur name change to Thick-billed Longspur, we'll leave links in the description.
It sounds like a sparrow.
Yeah, that's a good.
They really do sound like grasshoppers when they do their full song.
Yeah, that does sound, yeah.
That was a grasshopper sparrow.
They're a shortgrass prairie bird.
Nah, they like longer
apparently.
grass.
Oh, really?
But you can find them on short grass.
They're just rare?
No, you just sort of find longer grass within the short grass. Like, see how long this grass is over here to our left
Oh, that's fair.
compared to the short grass right next to it?
Yeah. He's all skinnied up because it's so hot, though. I usually see him, they're pretty poofy.
And the wing open for the cooling.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be cooling, right?
Yeah.
What a big boy. Oh, yeah. All right. What do you think? Can I back up a little bit and get closer?
Yeah, I guess so. It's our best chance so far, like an identifiable longspur. 1% power. Oh my god. The lens cap's on. Nope, it's not.
So there it is. That's Pawnee National Grassland. Really, really hot. I hope you all enjoyed watching us suffer the unrelenting heat from the safety and AC of wherever you are right now. Make sure you like and subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss our future episodes. And if you have a favorite birding spot somewhere in Colorado, then share it with us in the comments section below. And make sure you share this episode with the birder in your life so they too can get hooked on the sweet sauce that is Let's Go Birding. Other than that, we'll see you next month.